The news reverberated around the world on the morning of April 21st, 2025. Pope Francis, the 266th leader of the Catholic Church, had passed away. A profound sadness settled over millions across the globe, transcending faiths and borders. From the Vatican to the remotest corners of the earth, people gathered to mourn his passing. Church bells tolled solemnly, candlelight vigils flickered in the night. Heads of state and religious leaders offered condolences and tributes, recognizing the Pope's tireless efforts for peace, justice, and human dignity. The world grieved the loss not just of a religious leader, but of a global icon. His message of love, mercy, and inclusivity resonated deeply in a world often fractured by division and strife. The Catholic Church observed 9 days of mourning, known as Novem Diales, following the death of Pope Francis. This period allowed the faithful to gather in prayer and reflect on the Pope's life. Central to the Novem Diales was the lying in state at St. Peter's Basilica. The queue stretched for miles, showing Pope Francis's profound impact. Inside, they passed by his simple wooden coffin draped in white. On the 9th day, the Requiem Mass took place in St. Peter's Square. Cardinals, bishops, and dignitaries gathered to bid farewell. Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re presided over the Mass, eulogizing the Pope. Pope Francis wished to be buried in the Basilica of St. Mary Major. His burial outside the Vatican walls symbolized his commitment to simplicity. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, who became Pope Francis, was a figure of firsts from his election. His papacy began on March 13, 2013, marked by unprecedented decisions. He was the first Jesuit pope, known for intellectual rigor and social justice. His name choice, Francis, after St. Francis of Assisi, signaled a new direction. As the first pope from the Americas, he brought a fresh perspective. Pope Francis emphasized humility and simplicity. He chose to live in the modest Vatican guest house. His papacy was a time of profound change and renewal. From the moment he uttered the now iconic phrase Buonasera on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, Pope Francis centered his papacy on a radical message of love, compassion, and unwavering advocacy for the poor, marginalized, and forgotten. His actions spoke louder than words, transforming the perception of the Church from a distant institution to a refuge for the vulnerable. He made it clear that the plight of the poor was not a peripheral concern, but rather the very heart of the gospel message. He challenged the faithful to see the face of Christ in the suffering, constantly reminding the world that the measure of our society is how we treat the least among us. His papacy was marked by powerful gestures of solidarity with the marginalized. He washed the feet of refugees, embraced those with disabilities, and dined with the homeless. He spoke out forcefully against economic injustice, calling for a more equitable distribution of wealth and denouncing the globalization of indifference that left so many behind. His unwavering commitment to human dignity resonated with people of all faiths and none, inspiring countless individuals and organizations to work for a more just and compassionate world. Section 5. Architect of Dialogue and Peace. Pope Francis recognized the power of dialogue as a tool for peace-building and understanding in a world often torn apart by conflict and division. He dedicated his papacy to fostering interfaith dialogue, promoting reconciliation, and advocating for peaceful solutions to global conflicts. He tirelessly engaged with leaders of different faiths, seeking common ground and building bridges of understanding. One of the most enduring images of his papacy was his historic meeting with Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, one of the most influential Shia Muslim clerics in Najaf, Iraq. This landmark encounter, the first ever meeting between a pope and a Grand Ayatollah, sent a powerful message of interfaith harmony and cooperation. Pope Francis also worked tirelessly to heal divisions within the Christian world. He met with Patriarch Bartholomew I of Constantinople, the spiritual leader of Eastern Orthodox Christians. on multiple occasions, strengthening ties between the Catholic and Orthodox churches. He frequently spoke out against violence, war, and the arms trade. He left behind a legacy of dialogue, reconciliation, and peace-building, inspiring future generations to work towards a more harmonious and just world. Section 6. Reforming a Legacy. Pope Francis inherited a church grappling with complex challenges, both internal and external. He understood that the church needed to adapt to the realities of the 21st century while remaining true to its core values. His papacy, though marked by a spirit of humility and openness, was also a time of significant reform. He tackled the issue of clerical sexual abuse head-on, acknowledging the church's failings and promising greater accountability and transparency. Recognizing the need for greater financial transparency, Pope Francis undertook a series of reforms to overhaul the Vatican's finances. He established the Secretariat for the Economy, a new Vatican department tasked with overseeing all economic and administrative affairs. He also sought to reform the Roman Curia, the administrative body of the Holy See, making it more efficient, accountable, and responsive to the needs of the global Church. Pope Francis understood that the Church needed to be more welcoming and inclusive. His willingness to confront difficult issues and his commitment to reform left a lasting impact on the Catholic Church, setting in motion a process of renewal and transformation. Section 7. A World United in Grief. The news of Pope Francis's passing brought forth an outpouring of grief and tributes from every corner of the globe. World leaders, religious figures, and ordinary citizens alike mourned the loss of a man who had touched countless lives with his humility, compassion, and unwavering commitment to peace and justice. From the United States, President Joe Biden praised Pope Francis as a true man of God and a champion for the poor and marginalized. Former President Barack Obama recalled the Pope's moral clarity and courage in addressing issues such as climate change and economic inequality. Across Europe, heads of state and government paid tribute to Pope Francis's legacy of peace and reconciliation. French President Emmanuel Macron hailed him as a conscience for our times, while German Chancellor Olaf Scholz praised his unwavering commitment to dialogue and understanding. Religious leaders from across the spectrum of world religions joined in mourning the loss of this remarkable figure. The world mourned the loss of a spiritual leader, a moral compass, and a champion for the most vulnerable. Section 8. A Legacy Forged in Humility. Pope Francis will be remembered not for the grandeur of his pronouncements, but for the quiet power of his actions. His legacy is one forged in humility, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to the poor, marginalized, and forgotten. He redefined the papacy for the 21st century, transforming the image of the Church from a distant institution to a refuge for the vulnerable. His papacy was a testament to the power of simple gestures. He chose to live in a modest guest house rather than the opulent papal apartments, washed the feet of prisoners, and embraced those with disabilities. He reminded the world that true leadership lies not in power or prestige, but in service and love. Pope Francis's legacy will continue to inspire and challenge us for generations to come. His life and papacy stand as a testament to the transformative power of love, humility, and unwavering faith in the goodness of humanity. Section 9. Towards a New Dawn. As the Catholic Church mourns the loss of Pope Francis, it also looks ahead to the future. Within the Vatican walls, preparations are underway for the ancient ritual of the conclave, where the College of Cardinals will gather in seclusion to elect the 267th successor to St. Peter. The world will watch with bated breath, wondering who will inherit the mantle of this extraordinary papacy. The next pope will face the daunting task of guiding the Church through a time of great change and uncertainty. Yet the legacy of Pope Francis offers a roadmap for the future. His emphasis on dialogue, mercy, and concern for the poor and marginalized has set a new course for the Church. As the Church embarks on this new chapter, the world will be watching, hoping that the legacy of Pope Francis will continue to guide and inspire the Catholic Church and the world for many years to come.